We're in the room where Soutar spent the last years of his life.
In bed.
Yes.
Over there, looking out of the window.
Yes.
Yes. And I can remember when I was very small being brought by my parents. Both parents came. And I actually sat on the bed beside him and he was on my right-hand side. But I don't remember his hair. You know how everyone remembers his hair?
Yeah.
I remember his eyes, that he had very kind eyes, and there was no worry at all about his personality. He was just a very nice, friendly person. And then they all started talking, and that gets boring for a child. And I sat quiet for a little while, behaved myself, but after a while I started wriggling. So they said, "Why don't you go into the garden?" So I can't have gone through the window, or would the window have been open? It doesn't look openable.
No,
but anyway,
no, this one's not.
I went round or out into the garden and I realised that all the people sitting here were watching me through this window, so I felt very self-conscious. And I wandered around and I wondered to myself, what can I do out here? You know, looked about, looked at all the plants and various things, and felt very self-conscious. But that's all I can remember of that particular visit. I must have come, because in this photograph my father took, I must have come with my aunt and my parents. And that time Soutar's parents were there also, but they didn't seem to come into the room when we were there. They kept very quiet outside. So I don't remember them very well. And my father was a great admirer of Willie, they called him, and his poetry. And my father was a poet as well. And he sometimes brought poems to show and to ask advice. And I noticed in his diary, Soutar says, "I don't know why he's asked me. He knows jolly well what I think, or is, you know, something like that."
Yes.
But I don't know. There must be bits of diary. There must be a whole diary somewhere. Is there? Of diaries in the archives.
Possibly. I don't know.
Because he published, or someone published, part of his diary, bits and pieces from it.
Yes.
Which were quite interesting.
So you have this memory of a visit when you came here and ended up in the garden, but did you come on other occasions? That
I can't remember. Yes, I must have, with my aunt, the one that's I can't remember that one.
Right.
But I wrote to her, she is now 90, I wrote to her and I said, "Here's this photograph, can you remember that visit? Because, you know, people want to know about what happened." And she said she couldn't remember it at all. But she's older than me. I mean, you know, she's quite a teenager there. But at 90, you probably forget a lot of things.